Pledge of Allegiance and the singing of our national anthem. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
our upper schools. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Remember Me by Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez.
Good morning. Now, the first thing that I actually have here on my program is, isn't it a beautiful day? But it is still a beautiful day. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Morgan Park Academy's 145th commencement. Today, we honor the efforts and accomplishments of the graduates here before us. Together with their family and friends, we usher them into the next phase of their lives, and we recognize a class educated in the MPA tradition as independent thinkers and global leaders. Our distinguished alumni guests are two such leaders. Welcoming Mr. Snodell, our commencement speaker, and to Mr. Rathi, our Board of Trustees Chair, who will be receiving the Richard L. Duchossois Integrity and Values Alumni Award today. Welcome to MPA faculty and staff, who are kind of split up today, but that's okay. Students, family members, and friends, and to our trustees. But most of all, welcome to the class of 2018. You have long anticipated this day, some with eagerness, some with anxiety, some complicated mix of emotions. But whatever you are feeling today, you deserve to hold a keen sense of pride because you all have made it. When I think of this class, and in fact of Morgan Park Academy as a whole, I think of the importance of service. Our community works hard to maintain a culture of giving back to others, and this year was no exception. Students gave their time, talent, and treasure at home and all over the world in service of causes much larger than themselves. They raised thousands for HIV and AIDS research through our Dance for Life event. They did service work on campus, in our community, and halfway across the world with Project Lead. To graduate, all of these young men and women behind me were required to complete 80 hours of service, and most of them soared well beyond that. I am so very proud of the class of 2018 for not only reaching their individual goals, but always finding ways to help others along the way. As you embark on your collegiate lives, please remember what it means to give back. Remember the parents and teachers who helped you along this journey and who contributed so widely to your experience here. You could also remember one of my favorite quotes from Gandhi: the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. We all see that in practice every day at MPA, and I encourage you to carry that lesson forward with you as newly minted independent thinkers and global leaders. Morgan Park Academy's highest award for alumni is the Richard L. Duchossois Integrity and Values Alumni Award. Given annually in recognition of Mr. Duchossois' lifetime achievements, outstanding professional success, and service to the Academy, his community, and society. Mr. Duchossois' example of accomplishment service has for decades inspired classmates and colleagues, and inspired all of us here at Morgan Park Academy to ensure his beloved alma mater stays true to the mission and values that have guided us for nearly a century and a half. Today's recipient of the Duchossois Award is Mr. Rathi. Raj is a 1984 graduate and a champion of the Academy and its values through his time here as a student, a parent, and a trustee. We have been privileged to have him as a member of our Board of Trustees for the past 10 years and as board chair for the past 4 of those years. Raj's dedication and commitment to the Academy have been unwavering. We are immensely grateful for his leadership in helping secure the bright future of Morgan Park Academy. As he retires this month as board chair, he is truly a fitting recipient of our highest alumni honor. Please help me welcome this year's recipient of the Duchossois Integrity and Values Alumni Award, Mr. Rajeev.
Merce, that was an extremely kind introduction, very flattering, and quite humbled by it. My journey, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I usually just speak with what I feel in my heart and my passion, but this time I decided to put it in words on paper because I wanted to make sure I captured a few elements that are important to me. And one of them is where this all started, and that's the journey that my brother and I took starting in 1972. We lived down the hill from here in an apartment complex, and my mom and dad sacrificed a great deal to send both of us to this school. That's a journey that started, quite some time ago. I entered second grade, he entered third grade. And like many of the parents that are here today, my parents sacrificed a great deal to send us to NPA, not because they just wanted us to have a better education, but just simply put, they wanted us to have more than what they have, and they wanted to set us up for success. I am extremely, extremely grateful to my parents for investing in us, just as I'm sure everyone behind me is extremely grateful for all the sacrifices everyone in this room has made for their education. They invested in us with not only their love and their willingness to sacrifice their spending for what they wanted for our benefit. And because of that, I would not be here today if it wasn't for that type of unselfish thought process and family-based decisions. So Mom and Dad, thank you so much. My brother also helped me on this journey. We're only 1 year apart. If you're 1 year apart and you're two boys, I guarantee you fight a lot. He taught me how to be tough. He taught me to compete. He taught me how to punch above my weight class. He taught me not to give up. Those are attributes that I hold dear to my heart and close to me every day, and I use them every day. All these things had a great deal to do with who I am today, and again, I am extremely appreciative of that upbringing that I had. To me, the Duchossois Award in many ways reflects so many achievements. Dick is perhaps our most valued alum. Not because of his business acumen, not because of his service to our country and his perseverance, not because of just his philanthropy, and not because of his dedication to his community and to his family. The reason why he is perhaps our most valued alum and why this award means so much to me is because he encompasses all those items. And that is somebody that is very, very rare. And for that reason, I am extremely humbled to be a recipient of this year's Duchossois Award. My journey to NPA reconvened in 2008. I joined the board at that time, and I've had the privilege with working with many, many, many exceptional board members. As many of you know, 2008 was not a great year. It was called the Great Recession. We struggled through that, but with the strong board and with strong leadership of people such as Merce and my fellow trustees that are up there in the second deck, who I can't say enough strong things about, we persevered. We repositioned the school, but we always kept the foundation of this school at its core. The NPA way and the NPA culture is things that are very near and dear to all of us, and that has led to our success. It's led to our success as independent thinkers. It's led to our success as global leaders. And what I'm really just most excited about, and as I told our commencement speaker earlier today, the opportunity to see kids become students, become graduates, to take a next step and see that step and where they go, that is really an uplifting opportunity, and that is why all of us do it. And I really do believe our kids, our students, our graduates will make a difference and will make this world a better place, and that's why we do what we do. NPA became further entrenched into the Rathi family life when my 3 children attended school here. One of them sits behind me today and will graduate today. Congratulations, Sabrina. The other 2 are in college and doing extremely well. But extremely well is not defined by academics. It's not defined by where they're going professionally. To me, it's defined by the fact that they're good people with a good value system. They care for others, and they do it, what I'd like to say is the NPA way. They try to do well for others, and their kindness, and they are considerate. this environment has a lot to do with the outcome of where they are today. While they probably don't see the full value of the MPA education, trust me, that will come with years of maturity and a little bit more wisdom. I think mom and dad here certainly understand what this school has provided us. With my wife, who is now also at MPA, she has jumped in deep to make sure every kid here gets a fair chance at the best colleges they can get into. She, in many respects, has become the most valuable advocate from the Rathi family, and to try to deliver measurable results to our current student body, and that is a task I know she takes near and dear to her heart. I honestly believe MPA is lucky to have her, but I also know this. I am extremely lucky to have her. She makes me better, and that is also part of my journey. I think it is safe to say that the Rathi family is fully immersed into MPA. We have our passion for this school for a lot of different reasons. The education, the opportunities it provides our children, and the thoughts of trying to make this place better and the world better is what makes me extremely proud. Ultimately, what the Duchossois Award does is it causes me to reflect and really think about what have I done? What have all of us done? What can we do better? How do we aspire to be the best that we can be in helping others? Well, obviously on our own personal journey to do what we want to do. I've had a very successful professional career in investment banking, in private banking. I try to give my time and effort to educational initiatives, including MPA. But honestly, I really do feel this is just the beginning of a journey. As I'm now in the second half of my life, I anxiously look forward to seeing how we can continue to make a difference. And for that, this award means so much to me because it embodies those that do make a difference and can make a difference for the longer term. I think if we can all do a little bit, and as we will continue to try to do our bit to help out, to make this community better, to make it stronger, to make it more vibrant, to have a global perspective on things, to hug our neighbors regardless of ethnicity or their background, I honestly do believe we will think that we will make this world better. And that's what MPA does for me. And that's why I am extremely proud and humbled to be a recipient of this award. And I hope I can aspire to live up to such an honor. Thank you very much.
It is now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Snodell, who will give our commencement address. After graduating from Morgan Park Academy in 1962, Mr. Snodell earned a BA from Wabash College, an MBA from DePaul University, and a CPA license, working for several years in accounting and corporate financial planning. In the late 1980s, he purchased Peerless Industries and transformed the company into one of the premier suppliers of the digital signage industry. Since stepping away from day-to-day management of Peerless in 2000, he has split his time between Chicago and Big Timber, Montana, where his family owns and operates a beef cattle ranch. Mr. Snodell also serves as a trustee on the boards of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and his college and alma mater, Wabash College. Please help me welcome Mr. Snodell.
To the alumni, staff, trustees, friends of the Academy, and especially parents and members of the class of 2018, greetings and good morning. Folks, look around you. What do we have here this morning? According to my text, we have a beautiful day in early June. Maybe a tad soggy. But a great day for a gathering to memorialize the accomplishments of our graduates in the last 4 years. Graduates, we're here to celebrate you for what you've done and encourage you to go do more. And look around metaphorically. We're in the 8th year of a growing economy, full employment, most of the material things we could possibly want. Good times, yes? I don't know. It doesn't seem like good times. In fact, it seems like challenging times. Thomas Paine might say times that try men's souls and women's. There's uncertainty. Korea, China, Russia, global warming, racism, sexism. It's a long list. There's anger, polar disagreement, and intolerance of each other's opinions. Lots of shouting, insulting, accusing. Not too much dialogue. Some would say we face a crisis in values. So maybe this is a good time to take stock of those values. As we gather this morning to celebrate your accomplishments, graduates, and please bear with me, folks, because most of my remarks are aimed at them. I'd like to ask you to look forward for a few minutes. I'd like to ask you to consider how you want to live your lives, how you want to live your values. Now, values might be a tad broad as a theme to cover in a short speech. I assume you don't want to be here all day. But I'd like to suggest a specific value for your consideration today. I'd like to make a case for living in a way that is other-centered, by which I mean focused on what you can do for others rather than narcissistic, focused on what's in it for you. This comes to mind because of what we see in the news, but also because I had a strange incident that happened to me 2 or 3 years ago that kind of brought it to a head for me. I'd like to share it with you. True story. I was having a working lunch with a partner in a law firm that my company uses. My attorney and I arrived at Maggiano's restaurant in Naperville, a little before noon. The place was pretty empty. We picked a seat, or seats at a high top off in a corner where we thought it'd be relatively quiet when the place filled up. And we got into the conversation. In fact, we got so into the conversation, the waiter had to remind us to order. Well, and indeed, the restaurant filled up. I hadn't noticed, but at the table next to us was a young girl sitting alone. She was of Asian extraction, very well dressed, professionally dressed, maybe in her early to mid-20s. That might not sound young to you, but anybody under 60 is young to me. We were almost done with the lunch when she leaned over and said, "Excuse me, I could not help overhearing what you were saying, and I wonder if I could ask you a question." Of course, both of us were a little taken aback since we hadn't even noticed her, but I said, "Okay." She continued, "From what you were saying, I can tell that you are both very successful businessmen, and I wonder if you can help me." Well, I was getting the feeling now that she had been intentionally eavesdropping, and I thought, boy, this ought to be good. But really, I was not prepared for what came next. She said, "I want to get rich. I'm graduating from University of Chicago graduate program, and I want to be rich. Really rich. Can you tell me, how do I do that?" Well, I was jaw-dropped, flabbergasted. I stumbled out something real clever like, "Oh, you're graduating from UFC." She said, "Yes. I come from China to study at UFC, and I want to be really, really rich." I asked her some questions about what she was studying, what sort of a career she anticipated, that kind of thing, and it was clear immediately that she was uninterested. She was laser focused on getting rich and wanted to know how. She assumed this meant that she should own her own company, and yet she had no concept for a business startup. She had no identified customers. She had no product. She had no service. Just get rich. Does that seem wrong to you? I don't mean morally wrong, but upside down or backwards maybe, because it does to me. And by now I was a little irritated, but I offered her my best 30 seconds of advice anyway. I said, there's an American expression that describes the confusing of cause and effect. In such a situation, one is said to be putting the horse before the cart. I'm sorry, putting the cart before the horse. And I think, miss, you have the cart before the horse. You're focused on yourself, but you need to focus on others. You see, no one cares whether you get rich. Concentrate on what they do care about, and the money will take care of itself. Well, this confused her, so I tried one more time. To really succeed, you must be customer-centered. Focus on what you can do for your customers, whether they're people buying a product from you or just people you work with who are using a report you produced. Think of all of them as your customers and give them your best every time. As we paid our bill and left, I don't think she understood a word I said. Her English was fine, but she was looking for a magical path to wealth. And all I offered her was an opportunity to work her tail off. I began my remarks this morning by saying that I wanted to make the case for a life of other-centeredness. I think this little story is an example, but one that just touches on the topic. This story talks about how other-centeredness can work to provide you with wealth. But priests and ministers, social workers, teachers, nurses, mailmen, all work in professions that by definition are other-centered, yet they'll never be wealthy. And they know it when they choose those careers. There's a quote that's often ascribed to Winston Churchill. That's questionable, but whoever actually said it doesn't matter because it's a great quote, I think. It goes like this: you earn a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you get. Give. In other words, a life worth living is not determined by how much money you acquire. It's determined by the contribution you make to leaving the world better than you found it. I suppose I'm at the risk now of sounding like I'm going to drift into a speech about charity, and I'm not. Although charity is an example of other-centeredness, but there's a lot more than that. If money is important to you, my advice to that girl in the restaurant is valid. But if you just want to keep a roof over your head, it's still valid. And there are a zillion career choices. The interesting thing is that in almost every one of those career choices, you will be dependent on other people. And this is another reason to be other-centered. How about some examples? The Bears' Walter Payton was famous for handing the ball to one of his linemen to Spike because he knew he wouldn't be standing in the end zone if the guys up front hadn't been blocking for him. As great as he was dependent on them, and he knew it. Sports are obvious examples where other people are necessary for your success, but far from the only ones. In the military, no general ever won the day by charging up a hill by himself. In business, entire companies need to reflect coordinated activity among various departments, each department being composed of people who have to cooperate to create the output needed by their department's customers. If you're in the sales department, your customer's obvious. But product managers have customers too. They're the design engineers who develop new products and need input about end user preferences. The marketing department's customer is the salesman. And the list goes on, pretty much endlessly. But even in solitary endeavors, other people almost always play a role in making or allowing or facilitating the accomplishments of someone else. Back to sports. Andre Agassi. At one time, the world's best tennis player. All by himself on the court, he pounded his opponents with a relentless ground stroke that ran them all over the court and earned him the nickname the Punisher. But he never would have gotten to number one if it weren't for the endless hours his coach, Nick Bollettieri, spent working with him at youth tennis camp in Sarasota. Or consider the painter, Vincent van Gogh, whose brother supported him both financially and emotionally through years of failure and struggle. Or the composer, Joseph Haydn, whose patron in the Austro-Hungarian court paid him a handsome stipend just so he could continue to write music. Okay, but how does all this play out with the American ethic that we're familiar with? You know, the rugged individualist, the strong, independent man and woman making their way on a frontier of danger and hardship. Well, actually, I think it plays quite well with our history and our people. I own a cattle ranch in Montana, Big Sky Country. It's in an area of large ranches, and most of our neighbors are third and fourth generation cattlemen. In fact, our farrier's great-great-grandfather came to Montana with the first cattle drive, bringing a bunch of longhorns up from Texas in 1866. You're probably familiar with that because that actual cattle drive was the inspiration for Larry McMurtry's fictional cattle drive in Lonesome Dove. These were and are tough people. And yet, as cussedly independent as they can be, they recognize the need for help from others. And in turn, they accept the responsibility to give help to others. Their attitude, whether they'd express it in these terms or not, is it's not all about me. It's about the relationship between my neighbors and me. Excuse me. And this is other-centeredness. In the early days, community barn raisings would bring neighbors together to help build a new settler's barn before that first winter struck. And before the advent of barbed wire allowed ranches to be closed off from one another, everybody's cattle roamed and together and meandered over literally hundreds of square miles. Once a year, all the ranchers would get together and they'd have a massive roundup to sort out brand new calves, gather young steers for sale. Now, barn raising and roundups are no longer necessary, so they've died out, but people still routinely get together to help each other at branding time. Spouses, youngsters, all hands available are drafted to help with tasks like calving and haying. You see, nobody does ranching without help. So, what can we conclude from all this? I'd say that whether your greatest desire in life is to become a titan of industry or a fireman, whether you want to score touchdowns as a running back or teach children in a classroom, you will need to work with and through and for other people. Thus it follows that you will be most likely to succeed if you keep them in mind. And this is other-centeredness. For your customers, your employees, your friends and family, people you like, and people you've never met. So the next time you hear someone say, "Only I can fix this or that problem," don't believe it. Instead, remember the Greek myth of Narcissus, disdainful of others, who fell in love with himself and came to a most unfortunate end. As for you, remember the other rather than the self. Focus on making things better than you found them. The money will be there. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2018, congratulations on your accomplishments. Godspeed on your futures. And now, Let's enjoy this soggy tale.
Thank you, Mr. Snodell. Now we have a few student awards to give out as well, starting with our House Cup. Like many schools throughout the world, Morgan Park Academy divides all students, faculty, and staff into 5 houses. Named for 5 great giants of MPA history, they are Blake House, Norton House, Theodore House, Withington House, and new this year we added a 5th house named for Thomas Malcolm, who retired from our faculty last year after 41 years of dedicated service. The House system provides a framework for intramural athletic, charity fundraising, and community competitions. Students win points for participation in all facets of school life, including academic achievement, co-curricular involvement, good deeds, and volunteer work. At the end of the year, the house with the most points wins the cup. This year's winner is Malcolm House. Who will accept the cup for Malcolm House are Captains Ben Rosen, David Valentine, and Niles Williams. Honor and high honor rolls include a whopping 30 members of the class of 2018 who fought off senioritis and continued their academic excellence all the way to graduation. That's more than 80% of this graduating class. I know, it is kind of interesting, right? Certificates for our upper school students will be sent home. On the honor roll for the semester are students who earned a grade point average of at least 3.3 in all major subjects. Honorees this semester include 12 graduating seniors. Please stand when I call your name. Jacely Arceo, Dev Desai, Christian Eubanks, Brendan Fleming, Diego Gomez, Brent McKnight, Jordan Moore, Nathan Nichols, Anna Niles Williams, Shelby Williams, and Ian. On high honor roll for the semester are students who earned a grade point average of at least 3.7 in all major subjects. The class of 2018 is well represented. Please stand when I call your name. Lisa Chin, Theo Covello, Abby Herman, Amy Hu, Emma Wong, Joshua Jimenez, Olivia Penman, Olivia Kowalski, Grace Lee, Leo Hugh, Sabrina Rathi, Ethan Rodriguez, Kirsten Schmidt, Kat Stanley, Amanda Sung, David Valentine, Zhu Wei, and Adam Wu. Overall, academic distinction prizes go to the students in each upper school class with the highest academic average for the school year. Their names are placed on the honor plaque hanging in Alumni Hall. This year's freshman winner is Chris Zawiniak. In the sophomore class, Celeste Katna. In the junior class, Angelo Cabrera. And in our senior class, Kat Stanley. We also surveyed the upper school as a whole for 3 scholar awards in the form of gold, silver, and bronze medals given to students with the highest academic averages in the upper school this school year. The bronze medal goes to Theo Covello. The silver medal goes to David Valentine. And finally, the gold medal goes to Kat Stanley. The Jerome Thrall Junior Leadership Award is the most prestigious award given to students at the end of their junior year. It rewards faithfulness to the MPA tradition of excellence in citizenship, superior scholarship, and dedication to the enhancement of the common good. Recipients are chosen by the upper school faculty and receive a $4,000 scholarship for their senior year at the academy. Here today to join us in presenting this award is Jeff Thrall, Jerome Thrall's son. Jerome Thrall was a proud alumnus of the class of 1944, a successful businessman and a devoted family man, generous to many philanthropic causes, including Morgan Park Academy. Mr. Thrall was inducted into the MPA Hall of Fame in 1997 for his incredible support of our school. Upon his passing in 2009, his children established this award in his honor. Our first recipient is a fixture on the High Honor Roll, a member of the National Honor Society, and next year's Student Council Vice President. Her breadth of passion and contributions to MPA extends from theater performance, service work, to standout success in science, math, world languages, and more. Our first recipient is Angela Cabrera. Our second recipient is an honor roll student with a love and aptitude for science and math. Always a great ambassador for MPA, his passion for sports has made him a key player of our basketball and baseball teams while he spends his summer caddying golf. Our second recipient is Emmanuel Sarpong. Congratulations to both of you. To graduate with cum laude distinction, student must be ranked in the top 20% of the graduating class. Students in the Cum Laude Society receive pins and certificates and are wearing yellow gold caps today to signify their membership. Please stand when I call your name. This year's cum laude graduates are Theo Covello, Abby Herman, Olivia Kamen, Grace Lee, Sabrina Rathi, Mrs. Rodriguez, Pat Stanley, and David Valentine. At Morgan Park Academy, we take the study of international affairs seriously. It is a huge part of who we are and what makes us unique. Project Week, service, the exchange program, and our classes and our faculty, the study of Spanish, French, and Mandarin, beginning at the lower school, are all key components of the MPA experience. Today, we recognize two of our graduating seniors for their dedication to global citizenship with the Global Scholars Award. Our first recipient has explored language, history, and cultures all over the world in trips to Thailand, Greece, Italy, Hungary, Australia, Kenya, Tanzania, and the Czech Republic. He has studied Spanish since preschool and has also took courses in American Sign Language for many years. He has also participated in Model United Nations, representing Switzerland and learning more about the struggles of many countries in the developing world and how leaders in these countries can combat their struggles. Our first recipient is Theo Covello. Our second recipient is an international student fluent in 3 languages in addition to English and Mandarin. She is a member of the French Honor Society and has also begun to learn Korean and Japanese. She was president of our Model United Nations Club, has traveled to Japan, France, Luxembourg, and Belgium, and participated in an exchange program with a French school. Throughout her time at MPA, she has enthusiastically shared her Chinese culture with classmates and teachers, from her high school peers to her youngest preschool students. The award goes to Emma Wong. The Martin J. Wolf Service Award is presented to the senior with the most outstanding record of service to the school and the community as selected by the Service Club advisors. Recipients' names are engraved on a plaque to be displayed in Hanson Hall. The award is named for Martin Wolf, the Academy's longtime Director of Service Learning. This year's winner is Sabrina Rathi. The Jean Landon Taylor Alumni Award is presented each year on behalf of the Alumni Association. The bronze plaque goes to senior scholar in recognition of academic achievement, citizenship, and participation in school activities as determined by a vote of the upper school faculty. The award is named in honor of Jean Landon Taylor, who served as an instructor of English and head of the English department at Morgan Park Military Academy from 1929 to 1945. This award goes to Kat Stanley. The Scholarship Award is presented each year to a senior scholar in recognition of scholastic excellence, citizenship, and participation in school activities. It is chosen by vote of the upper school faculty and carries with it a bronze plaque. This year, the award goes to Abby Herman. The Harry D. Abels Award is presented annually to the class salutatorian based on 4-year cumulative grade point average. The winner receives a United States flag and a silver plaque. The award is named for Colonel Harry Delmont Abels, who joined the faculty of Morgan Park Academy in 1898 under headmaster William Rainey Harper. Colonel Abels taught chemistry and physics and was instrumental in the reorganization of the school in 1914. He served officially as superintendent of Morgan Park Military Academy from 1917 until his retirement in 1945. This year's winner is David Valentine. finally, the Hayden E. Jones Cup is presented annually to the class valedictorian as determined by the administration based on the 4-year cumulative grade point average. To be eligible, a student must have attended the academy for at least 3 years, including 11th and 12th grades. The winner receives a gold plaque and his or her name inscribed on the cup. Its namesake, Lieutenant Colonel Hayden Jones, joined the faculty of Morgan Park Academy as an instructor in Latin and history in 1899, while the academy was still part of the University of Chicago. In 1907, as we separated from the university, he joined Colonel Labels in reorganizing the school as Morgan Park Academy. And from 1919 until 1946, he served as superintendent. This beautiful quad was named in his honor in 1937, along with this top student award. This year, the award goes to Theo Covello. Theo is now going to join me here as he presents his valedictorian address.
Thank you, Ms. Sheppard. Good morning, everyone. Well, here we are. That's not exactly the most eloquent opening to a graduation speech, but it really puts it all into perspective. For years, we have seen other classes here, or rather out there, patiently waiting for diplomas, ready to embark on the next journey. I can't speak for my fellow classmates, but the thought of actually graduating, moving on to the next step beyond high school, it never really became apparent to me until now, as we stand here before you. Only now do I understand why so many regard this moment as bittersweet. While I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say that we are beyond excited to begin the new chapter in the novel that is our lives, at the same time, it's difficult to have to say goodbye to so many whom we have come to consider as family, people with whom we have formed unbreakable bonds. But do we really have to say goodbye? Personally, I believe the better phrase is thank you. Without all of my friends, my family, and MPA itself, I would not be the person who speaks before you. I might not even be standing here with the cap on my head in college to consider. I'm confident that if I had gone to another school, met different people, and been immersed in another environment, I would not recognize myself. I could not recognize myself. You might be thinking, ease up on the drama there, Theo. But consider this for a moment. Would an astronaut have the same life path as a lawyer? Of course not. And on a similar note, would attending a school of 2,000 in Indiana be the same as attending a school of 140 in Illinois? Doesn't seem likely. The path and the experience shape you. And I can say that being here at MPA has truly shaped me into who I am today. I'm sure that my fellow graduates would agree with me on this, that we owe so much to you, our families and faculty, for bringing us here. So, thank you, everyone. It's a lot happier than having to say goodbye. Still, though, it feels a bit odd. 4 years might not seem long, and yet it feels like an eternity. The memory of joining this family for the first time, it's almost prehistoric to me. I guarantee that freshman Theo would look at senior Theo and say, no, that's not me, no. And believe me, the feeling would be mutual. It's also strange knowing that there was a time when those standing with me were unfamiliar to me. Now I can't fathom the idea of us going our separate ways. And most unfortunately, I can clearly recall those times I flaunted my rapping or dabbing skills on camera. The videos of which I dearly hope have been deleted from everyone's phones. But some dreams remain dreams. I believe that all of these memories, yes, even that last one, and their contemporaries from my fellow graduates will make us long and strive for more times like them, so that all of these experiences will never truly fade from our minds. Rather, they'll live on. And even as we look to the past, we're faced with a considerable step to climb. And this is where the gratuitous famous quote comes in. I know you all were clamoring for that one. And I'm sure there will be a few eyes rolling behind me as I recall a phrase from one of my favorite World War II figures, who was already mentioned before, cue the eye rolling, Winston Churchill. And by the way, I'm sorry, Mr. Duchossois, I really wanted to do MacArthur, but I had to go with Churchill. The quote goes, "Things are not always right because they are hard. But if they are right, one must not mind if they are also hard." Now, there is more to the reason why I included this quote than it simply being an inspirational saying from an illustrious British dude from the 40s. Churchill is alluding to the common notion that we often associate something difficult with great rewards, and thus, we almost deem it necessary to take the hard path. Such an idea is applicable to our current situation as we consider this potentially difficult yet beneficial change in our lives. While it's not necessarily wrong, it's not the best way to look at this situation. We are not entering this next phase of life because it will be the most difficult path to take. We are entering it with the acknowledgement that it can be difficult, and we're prepared to accept that because we know we are doing what is right. We must emulate Churchill's words. It may be difficult, but we should be ready to take that next step regardless of challenges. I believe I can safely say that MPA has prepared us for just that. How so? Setting aside the fact that this is a college prep school, although that certainly counts, MPA has created this nurturing environment that sees strong bonds being formed between students and teachers alike. It also promotes an eagerness to learn and try new experiences, seizing those opportunities. All of these things that MPA, and by extension all of you, has provided have undoubtedly prepared us for college and beyond. And there you go, another reason why we should say thank you and not goodbye. So yeah, here we are. It's time to move on, to take that next great step. But even as we travel beyond MPA, we will remember. Better yet, we will bring with us the memories, the experiences, and the bonds we have formed. They will serve as both reminders and guides for how we may lead our lives. For none of this would be possible without those who were there for us, who cared for us, who shaped us, and who will continue to influence us even as we move on. You. Thank you.
Thank you, Thea. As the graduates come forward, they will receive their diplomas from Mr. Rathi, our board chair, and congratulations from Mr. Duchossois, our upper school principal. Graham Alcorn. Okay, we practiced this, and I told Graham, if you get it right, everyone behind him will get it right, and you get it. A personable and charming young man with a knack for understanding people, Graham is passionate about sports as both an athlete and a fan, playing a big role for our baseball and soccer teams for the past 4 years. In the classroom, he has proven himself a capable and bright student when he puts his mind to accomplishing a task and mastering a concept. He plans to study sports management at the University of Missouri. Graham Alcorn. An avid reader who loves to get lost in the bookstore, devouring anything from poetry to mysteries, and her favorite novel, Catcher in the Rye. Always on top of her responsibilities, she is a loyal friend and respectful to all. We won't soon forget her bubbly personality, kind heart, and giving nature. She plans to study medicine at the University of Tampa. Jacely Arcina. Lisa Chen. Lisa has a strong passion and drive for personal success and helping others. She has a huge heart and is always willing to help international students to translate and hop in when other students don't understand. Ranking among our very brightest mathematicians, she is academically motivated, but highly aware of self-expression and being true to herself. No one in the senior class dresses more stylishly. She will be attending New York University. Lisa Chen. Theodore Covello. Theodore is at the top of his class, but his academic success comes not from a competitive desire to beat his peers, but a genuine love of intellectual pursuit and gaining knowledge. Endlessly fascinated by paleontology, by U.S. and world history, global issues, and much more, he is an uncommonly kind and honorable young man whose boundless curiosity, generosity, and impact on the Academy in his time won't soon be forgotten. He plans to study biology at the University of Chicago. Theo Covello. Dev Desai. When Dev walks into a room, his fun-loving, energetic nature is contagious. He brings a positive energy to just about any situation and is always respectful and well-mannered. Lessons he credits to his family. Making huge strides academically through his time in the upper school, Dev began thinking of himself as an A student and put the work in to become one. He plans to study business at Indiana University. Dev Desai. Christian Young. Always perfect and genuine, Christian goes out of her way to make others feel included. Her laughter and energy can fill a room. She was a fantastic addition to our volleyball program, boosting her teammates and NBA fans with not only her play on the court, but her enthusiasm and passion for the game. She will be attending Clark Atlanta University. Brendan Fleming. The owner of one of the most contagious smiles in the class, Brendan is a well-balanced young man who is intelligent, creative, and athletic. He is artistically gifted, but not a showman. You would never know the wealth of his gifts from simply meeting him. Brendan is funny and humble, and he approaches life with a constant willingness to grow and evolve. We are so glad to have had him as part of our school community for the past 15 years. He plans to study sports management at Loyola University, Chicago. Brendan Fleming. Diego Gomez. Diego is a thinker, a scientist by nature. He examines the world around him and the complexities it offers. Uncommonly mature for his age, he has a great self-awareness and is 100% committed when he finds something he's passionate about. From the soccer field to the theater crew to his science and math classes, he made a big impact with his quiet leadership and determination. He plans to study engineering at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. Diego Gomez. Aziz Hassan. Aziz gets along with everyone because of his easygoing personality and lighthearted approach. He cares about his friends and classmates. While actively engaged in chorus, Model UN, tennis and soccer teams, and theater crew, Aziz has contributed a tremendous amount in his local community. He volunteers at a mosque, fundraises for Syrian refugees, and interns at a local hospital. He will be attending Indiana University Northwest, Aziz Hassan. Abigail Herman. Always wanting to let her work speak for itself, Abby has been the quiet powerhouse of the class of 2018, excelling in nearly every aspect of school life, from the classroom to the basketball court to the theater center stage. She proved herself both talented and tough, the kind of analytical thinker who didn't need to have her say in every classroom discussion, but whose comments, when offered, revealed a maturity and depth and intelligence behind her years. She will be attending the University of Chicago, Abby Herman. Amy Hu. Possessed of an enviable calm and centered nature, Amy is thoughtful, kind, and diligent about any task she sets her mind to. She fully embraced the MPA experience, singing in the chorus, playing soccer, and joining the math team and arts council. Also a dancer and runner, she's a gifted pianist whose compositions and performances were consistently delightful. She will be attending the University of Illinois Chicago, Amy Hu. Emma Wong. Emma is a true global citizen with a vicarious appetite for world languages, cultures, and international experiences. From trying to collect all the AP exams to her community involvement to earning a lead role in the fall musical, she puts forth her best in every facet of school life. Emma is meticulous in getting the details right in everything she does and stands out not only for her accomplishments, but her fearless embrace of new experiences and new challenges. She will try and probably succeed at just about everything. She plans to study hotel management at Covello Hotel. Okay, this is a French school. Practice, I promise you I did, but I'm sorry, Emma Wong. Joshua Jimenez. Josh is a kind-hearted, soft-spoken young man. You instantly feel his warmth when you meet him. He is the kind of friend that you can call in the middle of the night and we will come running to help. Always more concerned with helping others than with helping himself, he is a genuine pleasure to have in our school community, with a work ethic that will serve him well in college and beyond. He will be attending Loyola University Chicago, Josh Jimenez. Olivia Haynes. A fixture on High on a Roll since freshman year, Olivia has dedicated herself to all aspects of student life, becoming a standout volleyball player and clarinet player, serving on student council, and racking up nearly as many service hours as anyone in the senior class. She loves to travel and to help others, looking ahead to a possible future with the Peace Corps of Doctors Without Borders. She plans to study public health at the University of Miami. Olivia King. Olivia Kowalski. In August through and through, Olivia has been with us since kindergarten. Consistently carving her own path, she found her passion for art at a young age and has fed that passion through her studies at MPA, hours drawing along in her bedroom, and extra classes all over the city. Her skill at art and animation has led her to be a keen observer of humanity and a prospective conversationalist. She plans to study animation at the Savannah College of Art and Design. Olivia Kowalski. Grace Lee. Grace has undertaken an extremely rigorous course load at NPA and has found success at every turn. She is keenly interested in the STEM field, but she also loves performing in the chorus. She is a calm and peaceful presence that is rare for a high school student, as well as an instinct to consider a situation and aspect in all aspects and from everyone's point of view. She will be attending the University of Carolina at Berkeley. Grace Lee. Leo Liu. He initially had some difficulties adjusting to the language and culture, but he took it upon himself to learn how to adapt to his new surroundings. He is great at welcoming incoming international students and sharing his experience with them, with a gift for making people feel at ease. Always willing to assume responsibility, he has a strong determination to succeed. He will be attending the University of California at Davis. Leo Liu. Jacob Meir. Jacob is a golf panelist who thinks outside the mainstream and actively seeks out readings and other sources of information to widen his thinking. He has a humor, hidden talents with guitar and photography, and a passion for the outdoors. Never one to worry about outside social pressures, he accepts people as they are and is always willing to lend a hand. He will be attending St. Mary's University in Minnesota. Jacob Meir. Brent McKnight. Brent seems like a laid-back guy until you see him on the basketball court. The heart and soul of our varsity team, he was Conference Player of the Year, a dominant scorer who became one of the only 8 players in program history to score 1,000 career points. And he did that in only 2 seasons. Off the court, he has a smile and a positive attitude for everyone he encounters. He plans to continue his basketball development at Victory Rock Prep. Brent McKnight. Jordan Moore. Jordan is a self-starter, a reliable, independent, and mature young lady who gives 100% to her challenges. Her travel experiences in countries around the world have reflected and helped further develop her global outlook, and passion for exploring other cultures. Contributing to the concert band, basketball team, student council, and much more, Jordan is always friendly and willing to help. She plans to study business at Howard University. Jordan Moore. Nathaniel Nichols. Personality around campus, Nate is a natural leader. He is a gifted and accomplished dancer, participating in choreographing as a part of Dance for Life all 4 of his years, and capping it off by leading the production this year. Nate is always wonderfully himself, which has made a tremendous impact on the MPA community. He will be attending the University of Missouri, Nate Nichols. Nor Knock Knock. As anyone who has met her can tell you, Nora loves to talk. She has a bubbly personality and is open about her ideas and thoughts. Her Syrian culture has taught her the value of hard work and always being respectful. A veteran world traveler who embraces all cultures, she's a very focused and driven person who will do whatever it takes to reach her goal. She plans to study in a pre-pharmacy program at the College of DuPage in connection with the Midwestern University Chicago College of Pharmacy, Nord Nacken. Sabrina Rathi. The driving force behind our highly active service council, Sabrina is a gifted student and strong leader who is trusted, liked, and respected by adults and her peers alike. She is very self-aware and therefore able to make course corrections on her own and able to identify and capitalize on her strengths. Her dedication to bettering MPA and the lives of the people around her, both on campus and beyond, is Sabrina Rathi. Every day with his positive attitude and his openness to trying new things. He knows how to have fun, but he also understands how to work hard to achieve team goals, whether in the classroom or on the basketball court, where he was a core starter for 2 years and a senior leader this season. He will be attending Illinois State University, Ryan Reedus. Isis Rodriguez. MPA history might remember Isis first for her basketball scoring records, but her impact on our school community has gone much deeper. Independent, hardworking, and generous, she is an accomplished student and a dedicated advocate for the underdog who values and displays honesty and straightforwardness. And yes, her athletic achievements, not only in basketball, but also volleyball and softball, were remarkable. They are not likely to be surpassed soon. She plans to study neuroscience at the University of Michigan, Isis Rodriguez. Ben Rosen. A deserving winner of this year's Will Never Forget Award, Ben has been an unforgettable character since kindergarten. Seemingly never without a smile on his face, he loves to help and is consistently generous to everyone he encounters. His silver tongue was evident in classroom and advisory discussions and will serve him well as he transfers his passion for sports to a future career in broadcasting. He plans to study sports communication at Ball State University. Ben Rosen.
Attaboy, Ben.
Kirsten Smith. Another MPA lifer, Kirsten epitomizes the MPA way: be kind and do your best. She is responsible and always goes way beyond what her peers are doing, but she believes is using kindness to get things done. A dedicated member of the tennis team and the concert band, Kirsten is a well-rounded student who served her constituents well as student council president this year. She plans to study business at Butler University. Kirsten Schmidt. Katarina Stanley. Kat is an uncommonly accomplished student with a consistent desire to go beyond the textbook answer, instead to make meaningful connections between new concepts. She makes sure that she understands the real-world relevance of what she is learning and is persistent in finding opportunities outside of school to expand her learning. Kat has a true interest in learning and is actively seeking new avenues in which to stretch herself and find or create new opportunities to make a difference in the world around her. She plans to study engineering at the University of Southern California. Kat Stanley. Amanda Sun. Amanda's passion for arts is evident in her efforts with course, photography, acting, crafting in beautiful ceramics, and playing half a dozen instruments in the band. A kind-hearted young woman, she embraced the full MPA experience, also getting involved with WISE, Dance for Life, and Diversity Council. She will be attending New York University. Amanda Sun. David Valentine. A student since joining us in middle school, David blossomed during high school into a dynamic stage performer, both as an actor in theater production and as an outstanding drummer in the concert band. He is an insatiably curious learner and budding philosopher, always managing to strike a balance between cleverness and open-hearted generosity, between self-reliant achievement and concern for others. He will be attending New York University. David Valentine. Emmeline Wazak. Emma is a great example of what can be done when a student makes a conscious choice to focus and succeed. Always thoughtful and bright, she carved her own path to success and finished with a year that let her light shine. A frequent world traveler, Emma is a percussionist and improv performer with a passion for issues surrounding equality, activism, and the environment. She plans to study mathematics at the University of Massachusetts in Boston. Emmeline Wazak. Z Way. Joyful personality, Z has been a great contributor to the community initiatives with Service Council, Arts Council, and volunteer efforts beyond school. Her love of singing served her well in the chorus and saw her steady voice and dance outside of school as well. She will be attending Northeastern University, Z Way. Niles Williams. Niles is something of a Renaissance man, with passions that range from soccer to acting to working with children and volunteering in his community. Here since kindergarten, we've seen him grow as a stage performer and to lead roles in several upper school productions, become a soccer captain and MVP. Niles did all of this with a sense of humor and genuine warmth that makes him instantly likable. He plans to study performing arts at the Savannah College of Art and Design, Niles Williams. Shelby Williams. If you're walking across campus with Shelby, watch out. You don't want to get trampled by the wave of lower school students rushing over to hug her. She has a passion for helping people, and most specifically, she has discovered a love of teaching our youngest students in the ABC program and summer camp. Shelby has contributed to our volleyball, softball, and baseball teams, and to Service Council, doing it all with the deep goodness that we have seen from her since she joined us in preschool. She plans to study elementary education at Illinois State University, Shelby Williams. Self-noted, Adam has distinguished himself in areas ranging from mathematics to soccer to chorus to painting and drawing. He especially loves science, spending his summers exploring all sorts of new ways to learn more, including computer programming, rocket propulsion, and naval engineering. Talented, sincere, responsible, and focused, Adam was a natural choice as dorm leader for our Chinese international students. He plans to study physics at the University of California at Berkeley. Adam. Ian. Clearly respectful, but quietly very, very driven, Ian has a passion for history and museums, for telling stories and preserving history through film. The son of two curators, he has visited hundreds of museums, volunteered countless hours, and is working to create a 3D virtual tour of some of his favorites. He lights up at the chance to share more beauty and truth with the world. He will be attending University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Ian.
As a final word, I wanted to mention the senior class gift for this year. For so many of us, Jonesboro is a favorite place to be on campus, especially in the beautiful weather. Not like today, but. We're excited to see a new set of picnic tables that will allow classes after us to continue to enjoy this gorgeous campus. So now, the last bit of business. Let's flip those tassels over to the other side of your cap and hold it.
Thank you all for coming. Our new graduates will be first, followed by our faculty. And well, if it is my Southside, it will be in Jonesboro to greet guests, otherwise it will be out here in the concourse. Thank you very much.